Video number 5, premium control and flexibility. Some of the things that we are going to take a look at in video number 5 include the dividend column of an illustration, the cash value increase column of the illustration, and the death benefit column. These three columns are affected by the amount of premium that is being paid into the policy. So the more premium that you put in, the bigger that your dividends will be, the more that your cash value will grow, and the more that your death benefit will grow. From a long-term perspective, the most ideal situation would be to fully fund the policy every single year. However, as discussed in previous videos, you are not required to put in the maximum premium every single year. I will highly recommend that in the first 3 to 5 years, you really want to get as close to that max as possible so that you're jump starting the growth curve of the policy. By doing that, your cash value and liquidity will be very, very high early on. This really helps to pay lower premiums in the future because you jump started the growth curve so quickly in the policy. In each slide that we will be viewing, we are going to be looking at years 6 through 20. The funding amounts that you will see for slide 1 will be the first 5 years, contributing the full $18,400 every single year. And years 6 through 20, only the minimum premium is going to be paid in, and that minimum premium is that $4,345. In the second slide, $18,400 will be going in every single year from years 1 through 20. So you will see the maximum growth potential of the policy being fully funded. And then the final slide for this video will simply show $18,400 going in from years 1 through years 7, and years 8 and beyond, 0 premium will be going into the policy. This is an option that you have at any point after year 7. You have the option to cut off any required premium whatsoever into the policy. There are benefits to doing this and there are drawbacks, and we will touch on that briefly. And then we will finish up this video by showing you the different income that each funding scenario will provide starting in year 21. What you are viewing in slide 1 is years 6 through 20. And the funding amount, as mentioned previously, years 1 through 5 is the full $18,400. And then years 6 through 20, $4,345 is the funding amount. As you can see, I've labeled 10, 15, and 20. So right here, what you're seeing is year 10, year 15, and year 20. So we start off with year 6. This is your dividend column all the way to the left. This is your total cash value column right here. The middle column is your cash value increase. So this shows how much the cash value is increasing on an annual basis. This is the death benefit amount, not including the dividend. And then over to the right, this is the total death benefit, including the dividend. So your dividend does contribute to your death benefit increasing every year. So what I'd like you to focus on in slide 1 and also in slide 2 and 3 is your cash value increase. This shows, again, how much it is increasing every single year. This number is dependent upon the amount of money you're putting into the policy. And again, from years 6 through 20 in this scenario, $4,345 is going into the policy. So you can see right off the bat in year 1, the total increase is greater than the contribution. Let's look at year 10 as an example. So in year 10, the total cash value increase is, let's call it 10,500. Again, you're contributing 4,345, and here's the dividend earned that year. Do the math. 3,845 plus the 4,345 is a lower number. It's slightly over 8,000. Why is that? Well, that is because on top of the dividend that you are earning, you are also earning interest, and that interest is guaranteed. That is why you see a bigger increase on top of the contribution and the dividend. This continues to compound and grow every single year. Let's take a look at the death benefit. In year 6, the death benefit has gone up to 528,000. Remember, at the beginning of this policy, it was around 345,000. So your death benefit increases significantly every single year. And that is also a factor of how much premium you are putting in. So again, the more premium that you put into the policy, the bigger that the values are as far as your dividends, your cash value increase, and your death benefit. In slide 2, we're going to look at the same scenario. However, the full 18,400 will be put into the policy from years 1 all the way to year 20. What you're going to see is much greater values. The most ideal scenario is to fully fund the policy every year. Let's take a look at slide 2. The only difference from slide 1 to slide 2 is the full 18,400 is being contributed every single year all the way out to year 20. What you'll notice right off the bat is the cash value increase is much greater in this scenario than in the first scenario. So let's take a look at year 10 again as an example. In year 10, the client has contributed 18,400. His dividend that year is 5,800. If you add those two together, you get a much smaller number than, let's call it 26,900. So you have a much greater compound growth effect because of more premium being paid into the policy. Now, it's very important to note you have cash value, and your cash value is liquid. So you are not trapping money into this asset. This is money that you can use for anything. There are no stipulations as far as what you can use this money for. It is simply a request to the insurance company, no human interaction, and they will wire the money into your bank account, typically in 5 business days. Another thing that is very important to understand, and we will dive much deeper into this in some of the videos coming up, is the cash value is always earning interest and dividends, even if you borrow against it. As an example, year 10, say you need $100,000. The last thing you would want to do would be to withdraw $100,000 from this amount, because you would then be earning dividends and interest off of a smaller amount. So the insurance company is more than happy to lend you $100,000 of their money and use this as collateral. Therefore, you are still earning interest and dividends off of this full amount, much like borrowing against your house. We will dive deeper into this in videos to come, but you need to understand that. Let's go over here and take a look at the death benefit. You can see that the death benefit is higher in this situation and increases more significantly every single year. Okay, you go out to year 18, what is your death benefit? It has gone up to $1 million. and it will continue to increase. Again, this is the most efficient way to fund a policy, and that is by fully funding it every single year if you can. In slide 3, we are going to look at funding the policy for 7 years and using an option that's called a reduced paid up, where you are no longer even required to pay in any premium into the policy. So let's take a look at that. This is a very important aspect to whole life insurance that is not available in other permanent life insurance policies. This is what's called a reduced paid up. Essentially, what it means is all the premiums that you've paid into the policy are calculated to the policy being paid up. This is something that you cannot do before year 8. However, at any point in time after year 8, you can choose to reduce pay up your policy. There are benefits to doing this. However, there are also drawbacks. We're going to touch on that a little bit. So the first drawback that you're going to notice, and I've put a little red arrow here for you, is you can see that the death benefit takes a huge hit once you enact this reduced paid up. However, it does start to grow again, but you take almost a 50% hit on your death benefit. And again, this is year 8. Let's take a look at the cash value increase column. You can see that this takes a small hit as well. Years 6 and 7, the cash value increase is greater than the contribution and the dividend. But you get to year 8 and you see a drop. However, no premium is being paid into the policy from year 7 and beyond. So you're still earning interest and dividends, and you're not contributing any premium to this policy. This will give you the highest internal rate of return on the policy. That is not what you want to focus on, though, because the big drawback to this, on top of the death benefit reduction, is that you are no longer allowed to pay in any more premium into this policy forever. Once you enact this reduced paid up, you cannot reverse it. So, say you come to me in year 15, say, Adam, I have additional funds. I really like how this asset is growing and performing. I'd like to throw in some more money. Well, you can't. That's the problem. So this is more of a last resort or worst case scenario. This would make sense as you get closer to retirement, where you're going to basically convert the policy to an income source. So as an example, say you're age 65, you no longer want to put money into the policy. You only want to take money from the policy. This reduced paid up option would make more sense at that point in time. The thing that I really like about this option is, what if things aren't going well or going as planned? Everything's going good until it's not. So this gives you the option to always keep your policy rather than surrendering your policy. Even if you don't have the money to fund the minimum, you always have this option, which is very, very powerful. There are other options that you could enact that would still allow you to put in more premium. We will touch on that in future videos. But this is another important aspect to the control and flexibility that you have as the policy owner. This will conclude video number 5. To end video number 5, I am going to show a quick glance at the income that comes from each scenario. In the next video, we will take a very, very close look at how we are able to pull so much income from the policy. And again, that income is tax-free, and you know what you'll have. There's no guesswork. So we will dive deep into that and how that works. Total income from each scenario from age 66 to age 85, a 20-year time span. Scenario 1, $408,000 of income. Scenario 2, $950,000 of income. And then scenario 3, $220,000 of income. We will take a very close look in video number 6 on how we are able to take so much money from these policies. Stay tuned.